You're going to open the door. I know you will. Because everyone does eventually. 3 knocks is all it takes, and before you know it, you're standing face to face with something that shouldn't exist. Trying to remember why you thought answering seemed like a good idea in the first place. That's what happened to me last Thursday. The knocks came right around sunset, polite and patient, the kind that makes you think maybe it's just your neighbor borrowing sugar or a delivery driver with a heavy package. I didn't check the peephole. That detail haunts me now, the casual way I just turned the knob and pulled. Standing on my porch was a man, if you could call him that, folded down to fit beneath the doorframe like origami that had been unfolded too many times. When he straightened up, he kept going and going. His head stopped maybe an inch from my ceiling, and I had to tilt my face up so far my neck complained. Good evening, or perhaps good morning, depending on which side of sleep you currently reside, he said. His voice sounded like someone had recorded normal speech, reversed it, and then somehow made it intelligible again. Wrong in a way I couldn't quite name. The strangest part wasn't even that. It was the silence that came with him, a dead zone of quiet that swallowed every ambient sound the moment he spoke. No cars outside, no hum of my refrigerator, no settling of the floorboards, just his backwards voice filling a vacuum where sound used to live. He wore a suit that might have been brown once, decades ago. Before it got dragged through situations fabric was never meant to endure. His face troubled me the most. Not because it was monstrous or deformed, because I couldn't hold on to any single feature long enough to remember it. His eyes might have been blue, or brown, or maybe not there at all. Every time I tried to focus, the details slipped away like water through my fingers. I represent the Dire Insomnium, he continued, producing a clipboard from nowhere. I'm conducting eligibility assessments for our residential dream acquisition program. The form attached to his clipboard bore a logo at the top, a circle containing an eye surrounded by threads that might have been a dream catcher or might have been something else entirely. The text underneath looked like language, but not any I'd ever seen. Symbols that hurt to look at directly. I don't think I'm interested, I managed. You haven't heard the offer yet. He tilted his head at an angle that was just slightly too far. The Dire Insomnium wishes to purchase your dreams, all of them, every night, every vision, every forgotten fragment. In exchange, we provide compensation. What kind of compensation? The kind that improves your waking life in ways both subtle and profound. His backwards voice remained perfectly calm. Mental clarity at first, then the benefits begin to manifest materially. Better opportunities, Fortunate coincidences. The universe bending slightly in your favor. I started to close the door. My hand was already on it, already pushing, but the door wouldn't move. Not stuck, just refusing. Of course, there are penalties for declining our offer once you've been assessed, he added. Nothing severe, completely tolerable. You'll hardly notice them. What penalties? I'm afraid disclosure would compromise the assessment process. He gestured with his clipboard. May I come inside? This conversation would be far more comfortable for both of us if conducted properly. Something in me screamed not to let him cross the threshold. That animal part of your brain that knows when you're being hunted, but another part, quieter and more insidious, whispered that refusing might make things worse. That he was here now, and making him angry seemed astronomically stupid. Please, I heard myself say, come in. He ducked through the doorway, unfolding his full height once inside. The ceiling groaned softly. His shoes left marks on my carpet, black smudges that looked less like dirt and more like the residue of something burned. He moved to my windows and drew all the curtains before I could protest. I'll need some information from you, he said, settling onto my couch with a creaking sound like old wood under pressure, the cushions barely compressed beneath him. Can you currently recall your own name? Yes. Don't answer reflectively. Actually check. Can you form the thought of your name in your mind right now? I did. My name was right there, solid and certain. Good, he said, making a mark on his clipboard. Are you sane? Excuse me? I know the question presumes you were sane to begin with, but please humor the process. He looked up at me with that face that I couldn't hold in focus. More sane, less sane, or approximately the same sane as you've always been? I guess the same, I said. And when you dream, would you say you're more lucid or less lucid than in waking life? Less. Dreams are foggy, disconnected. Fascinating. He wrote something down. How much time would you estimate you've spent dreaming? Total accumulation across your entire life up to this moment. I did rough math. 8 hours of sleep, maybe 2 hours dreaming per night, multiplied by years. Maybe 3 years total, I said. And of those 3 years, how much do you remember? Bits and pieces, nothing substantial. Do you find that regrettable? No, I admitted. Dreams aren't real, they're just mental noise. He leaned forward, and for the first time, something like enthusiasm entered his reversed voice. But what if they could be real? What if those 3 forgotten years could serve a purpose? The Dire Insomnium can't dream. They exist in a state of permanent wakefulness, unable to access the restorative and creative powers of sleep. They need to harvest dreams from others, from people like you who waste them away. Harvest them? How? We install processing mechanisms in your subconscious. You'll perceive them as windmills when you dream. Great structures with grinding gears inside, converting your dream energy into usable form. They'll always be present in your mind, turning and working, even when you're awake, even when you're not aware of them. My stomach twisted. That sounds invasive. You already said you don't use your dreams. This merely puts them to productive use. And in exchange, the Insomnium watches over you. They never sleep, so they're always aware, always present. They can manipulate dream energy in your favor when it's cost-effective to do so. I'm going to have to decline, I said firmly. He made a small, disapproving sound, and then reached for the water I'd forgotten I'd even given him. He took a slow sip, then set the cup down with careful precision. "Look outside," he said. It wasn't a request. My body moved before my mind could object, walking to the window and pulling back the curtain. My neighborhood was gone. In its place stretched an ocean of deep red grass, churning in violent wind beneath a sky choked with purple storm clouds. Lightning flickered. On the furthest hill stood an enormous windmill, black as burnt bones, its sails whipping in circles too fast and too wrong. In the tower's highest window, something watched me, a silhouette, motionless and patient. "This is what we're offering to keep inside your head," the man said from behind me. "A small piece of our world, quiet, unnoticed, or you can refuse and we'll discuss the penalties for wasting our time." I dropped the curtain and spun around. "Get out." "As you wish." He stood, crossed to the door with those same careful movements. He pulled a card from his jacket, blank except for that eye inside its web of threads. "Keep this. When the penalties become unbearable, you'll use it to contact us. Everyone changes their mind eventually." He slipped it into my pocket, bowed slightly, and left. When I looked outside again, everything was normal. Birds sang, cars passed, the sun hung low and ordinary. But the card remained in my pocket. The footprints remained on my carpet. And last night, for the first time in years, I remembered my dreams, all of them. Every second of those 3 forgotten years came rushing back in perfect clarity, and I understood why I'd been meant to forget them, why we're all meant to forget. The windmill was already there, you see, turning in the dark behind my thoughts. It's been there all along. I just hadn't noticed it yet. Ah, dreams, the stuff of fantasy and fiction. I loved creating this unique tale for you. I hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment to let me know what you liked the most about it. Until it's time for the next Dark Veil tale, sweet dreams.